Welcome everyone to Real Estate with Gwen Price, and I'm happy to have with me again Cory Frith with a Buyer's Choice Home Inspection. Hi, Cory.
Hi, Gwen.
How are you? Yeah, we were kind of chatting just a little bit before we started, and it's been kind of challenging with home inspections and the way we're with all this multiple offer situation we got going on, and so home inspections, the whole nature of it has kind of changed somewhat in the last couple of years. People are going in unconditional, but sometimes the sellers are deciding ahead of time to have their house inspected and offering that inspection up to the buyers. So how's that experience going for you?
Yeah, lately we've taken a few calls and done a few pre-listing inspections, and all for different reasons. There's, everyone talks about the pros and cons of doing a pre-listing inspection, and while there are pros and cons, the reasons lately, one gentleman was for an executive home, and because it was tenanted out, he just really wanted to make sure that before he listed it, there is nothing that's taken place with him not living in it for a few years, and being an out-of-town owner. He just wanted to make sure that that home was ready to be listed. He didn't want any surprises. And that's one of the reasons sometimes we'll see the pre-listing inspections take place. The sellers live there for a while. They want to make sure that it's basically move-in ready for the potential buyer, right? It allows for the potential buyers to look at the report and bid with confidence. Nothing greater than being informed of the home that you're looking at buying. So one of my other recent clients had us do an inspection because they wanted to actually have someone go through, identify the minor repairs that could be done to enhance the way that the home showed. We found a couple of plumbing leaks. We found some areas where we could improve the ducting with some HVAC tape. A lot of little things, but like that to-do list that really a homeowner could do themselves. And while the market right now isn't a seller's market and there isn't a lot of inventory, they really want to try and maximize the return on their investment when they listed it. Really help the sellers come in with some strong offers and bid with that confidence and not hold back. So I do find that we're getting phone calls for these lately, and they all come from different angles, different reasons for the why behind it, right?
Yeah, and I mean, some are a little nervous about having an inspection ahead of offering the property for sale. In that surprise, you got this big issue that you didn't know anything about. But at the same time, it's always better for everybody to know, and maybe the seller decides they don't want to do that big repair, but they disclose to the new buyer this has to be done or whatever. It doesn't necessarily have to be a big repair, but just here's what we found out, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Some people will speak to the disclosure part. Oh, you found a big issue, now we have to disclose it. Even in these hot markets, people are still able to get a form of a home inspection. We offer those pre-advisory pre-offer advisory services. A home inspector is going to come in, they're going to probably see that issue with the home anyway. So now you can list your home more accurately and not have all these people come through your home and then not end up selling the home. And you're having to leave your home for people to come in for these viewings. And right now there's a lot of people looking to buy homes. So
it is.
It does give you that benefit. I know one lady, their home didn't sell because there was vermiculite insulation in the attic. Again, had they known about that, maybe they could have addressed that or disclosed that so people know that before going through all these steps. Then the home inspector comes in the 11th hour and says, oh, by the way, and then we spoil the deal. It really helps defeat that from happening.
Well, and every buyer is different, because if I was a buyer, vermiculite doesn't scare me, I guess, because I was raised with every carcinogen going, I guess. And it all depends. It's just everybody, it's fear, right? They hear the word asbestos and they freeze. But I mean, I've done so many renovations over the years. I know I've dealt with asbestos, but I'm still, so it all depends on the buyer and their level of comfort, and nobody can decide that but them. But, even if it's there, they have to know about it. But a lot of homeowners aren't even aware. They've never been up
No,
in their attic and, the whole time they own a house, some of them. But yeah, and I mean, and sometimes you're living in a house and you don't necessarily pick up on the little things that a home inspector might pick up on, right? You live
yeah,
in a day to day and go along your life and you don't worry about it.
that's right. And for us as well, when we go through there and we find these areas of concern, perhaps if we're able to do the pre-listing inspection a week out before the property's going to go to market, it gives you time to have some of those repairs completed. Because our reports can be used as a marketing tool. The agents can have them printed off. They can be there on the kitchen counter, and we summarize all of the big things in our reports on page 2. So flip over the cover page, and here's the big issues in the home, whether it be safety related, large and repair costs, or end of life, like an old water heater or something. And it's all highlighted there. So what we offer our clients as well is if we do an inspection report for them, a pre-listing, and then they go ahead and make some of these repairs, we offer them a rewrite. So we can go in there and we'll verify that those repairs were completed to standard. And then we can rewrite the report, take that out, clean it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then now they can present that as well and show the home in its true condition. And that's the one piece as well. There's always a concern about a bias, and we always inspect the home, and our due diligence is to the home. It's not to our buyer, it's not to the seller, it's to the conditions of the home at that time. And what we do offer, if sellers still perhaps have a concern, is we'll go back in and do a walkthrough in that property with the buyer, for a much reduced fee, less than half of what an inspection would cost. And we'll re-inspect that home and do the walkthrough with the buyer. And now, if they wish, and when they bring us in to do that, we can now transfer the warranty of our report over to that individual, bring the accountability still on us, but now we switch it over to the buyer from the seller. It is a transferable warranty when they hire us to come in and do that secondary walkthrough with them. And that's great because that protects all the parties involved. That protects the listing agent, protects the buyer. And that's our goal when we're out here inspecting, no matter what the inspection is, pre-listing, a pre-offer, a standard. Our motto is to assist, comfort, and protect. And this is how we protect all the parties involved when we're doing a pre-listing inspection, because there are some misunderstandings, of how that works out in the industry.
Well, and I can understand, a buyer may think that, you're totally working for the seller and you're, maybe you're not going to disclose something to the buyer, but any professional in the business is not going to do that. You're going to identify what you can identify. You can't identify everything because you can't take walls apart, but you're going to do the best that you can. And that's yes, the seller's paying you for that, but you're not going to risk your career over not disclosing something that you see blatantly in front of you, right? So I mean, it's and I guess it's an industry that there are a lot of people out there, same as real estate. There's a lot of realtors out there that may not work that way, but if you want to be have longevity in your career, you're not going to be doing something.
Yeah, we're obviously integrity is huge for me, for myself, and for many others out there in the home inspection industry. And Sudbury is a small market, so if you start operating your business that way,
well, I always say it's 1 degree of separation in Sudbury, and in some of the outlying areas, that's a half a degree. You're either related or something. It's very hard. You're absolutely correct. The word gets around fast, right? If somebody's playing loose with the rules, sort of thing. You do your job and you go on, and that's why somebody will call you, because they've heard you do a good job, right? Same in my industry. It can be destroyed pretty quickly by negative. So yeah, no, it's an interesting, I mean, some people see the benefits, some don't, but everybody has to make their decision about a pre-listing inspection.
Yeah, and I know, you know, in a buyer's market, definitely it's a great tool, a great resource to use. And that's, you know, in the seller's market, we don't do pre-listing inspections as often, but when the market's flipped and it's a buyer's market, it's a great way to help your listing stand out.
Yeah.
You know, I think about growing up and flipping through the newspaper, looking at the homes for sale in the real estate section. Now we go to our computers and we pull up MLS. And now you look at the way we market homes too, right? You bring in the stager, you got the photographer, we have the person with the drone doing the videographer. And now it's one more step in the process where it's a fully vetted home when you add the pre-listing inspection in. It's interesting because that's the part that people are always concerned about, and they're worried about, oh, they're bringing in a home inspector. Beat them to the punch, bring them in yourself, right?
Yeah.
Show us your home and make sure we have access to all those important areas of a home, that we can get up into the attic. We can access the furnace or the electrical panel with ease, and really give your home the best inspection and really showcase your home to its truest form, truest condition. And you'll receive the best deal that way typically.
Well, knowledge is everything, right? And yes, from a seller's perspective, yeah, it can be, oh my God, is my house going to pass or fail? And it isn't pass or fail. It's your opinion of what you see, what you have access to. And some buyers can handle certain things and some can't. But the intent is that when somebody's doing a home inspection, you know, the buyer, what they want is, maybe there's something they weren't aware of. We have to go through a house in a half an hour and look at it, and you don't see everything or get a feel for everything. So it is good to have somebody else, another professional, looking at it if possible.
You know, a great thing, a great example I can use, I guess, just the other day, it was a pre-offer advisory service we were doing, to your point, going through a home during a viewing, a showing. And when I went through the storage space, it was a back split. So I was going through the storage space at the front of the house, and that's where the incoming water was from the city. And the grounding for the electrical panel, when it went down to the water meter, the grounding wire was not attached. The clamp had actually been had broke, so the electrical panel wasn't grounded at all. Everything else in the panel was perfect. You know? But if those boxes are in front of that and stored, we wouldn't be able to see it. You know, that clamp has been there and in place for probably 30 or 40 years and never been a problem. Either it got knocked or it corroded or something, but for whatever reason, it wasn't connected at that time of inspection. Now it's an easy fix. But again, if we don't go and check those places, we don't know when something's broken. And countless times we go up into attics and vents that were connected have become disconnected for multitude of reasons we can come up with. But at the end of the day, it's not connected. And now we have all this moisture going up into the attic in the wintertime. We see all this condensation underneath the roof, underneath the sheathing, again, creating problems. So that's where it's great to have someone come through and maybe give your house that once over and give it dig into those areas where as homeowners, we typically don't go into, because we fixed it or we built it, it's set, it's done, we believe it to be fine, but things happen over time, not to our knowledge, and not to take it for granted.
Yeah, no, and sometimes it's an innocent oversight by a seller because they don't crawl down in that crawl space or go up in that attic or on a regular basis. And it's only until somebody like you starts crawling around in their house. But oftentimes things are easy fixes. So it's not that it's going to be a $10,000 job. It could be much less than that to fix whatever needs to be addressed. But it's good to have options.
Yeah, and that's one thing we do enjoy with the pre-listing inspections. It does give people a chance to do those repairs themselves if they want to. And by themselves, I mean, they hire their own contractor out to do those repairs, versus if you didn't know about the issue, and if you don't know a lot, maybe what things are costing these days to have repairs done, the potential buyer can come in and they can really come in with some interesting numbers on what things cost to be repaired.
Exactly. Well, a lot of buyers, if they've never bought a house before, they have no idea what it costs to hire a plumber or buy a stick of wood, or, it's always an education for buyers. I mean, some are more sophisticated because they've owned houses before, maybe done some of their own repairs. And that's why some of them might not worry about caulking missing around a window, even though the home inspectors pointed it out to say, oh, okay, I can do that, right? And not make it an issue. But I mean, the intent is you're looking for something significant that affects you taking that home ownership on.
Yeah, it really does. And that's the nice piece. Like I said, we're willing, like I said earlier, about assist, comfort, protect. It's all parties. So yes, we go in there and we're technically representing the sellers. But my goal when we do the pre-listing inspections, that report helps the buyers. And like I said, if they have a concern with a bias, our due diligence is always to the home. Sometimes that means we're giving information that the homeowner doesn't want to hear. They're very proud. It shows a pride of ownership when you go through the home. But it's also interesting when I'm going through these sometimes, and the homeowners are right behind me. They give me all the history of when they did it, why they did it,
every widget.
You learn a lot. But at the same time, it's really nice. It's amazing to see the amount of care that people have and that pride of ownership in their home, and they want their home to show well when they sell it. And I think about this often when I'm out on Manitoulin Island doing inspections, and I'll see the buyer and the seller, and they're sitting there on the back deck overlooking the water, having coffee, having lunch while I'm in there doing my inspection. But they're trading so much information, valuable resources. Like, here's the gentleman that brings us our wood in the wintertime. Here's the local gentleman that does our plumbing. Here's the guy that I use for my electrical. And they're passing off. There's that pride of ownership. And it's just amazing. It's wonderful to see. Not everyone's out there trying to pull a fast one or pull the wool over someone's eyes, right? And you hear that a lot of the lipstick and mascara fix up. That's not
for
always
sure.
There's some great sellers out there, and great buyers and great properties. And I'm just happy to be able to go out there and have the opportunity to go in there and inspect and to be able to report on it.
Oh, that's great. That's great information, Cory. And again, what phone number can people reach you at?
Yeah, for sure. Call me at 705-618-1396. If they like, they can check out our website as well. It's buyerschoice.com/Sudbury. You can check out all of our Google reviews. I love getting those and reading those and seeing what people have to say. But yeah, give us a call, because even in this crazy hot market, buyers have options as well, right? It's not just about the sellers here today, but as well, we offer those pre-offer advisory services. I did a handful of them this morning already, another one this evening to do. People can still make an informed decision. They can still have a professional come through the property with them and be that set of eyes that, they're maybe fearful of asking for, because people are afraid to put a condition on an offer these days right now.
Well, there's still lots of multiple offers, especially in certain price ranges in certain areas, and it becomes problematic for a lot of people. For sure. But well, thank you again, Cory. It was great talking to you.
My pleasure.
I'm sure we'll have another hot topic next month.
I'm sure we will. But hopefully it is hot outside.
Oh, a little bit better, eh? When I saw the rain, spring's my favorite time of month, but as we know, spring brings challenges with lots of water and things like that. So that's also a good time to be inspecting a house too, when all the rain's coming down.
It puts a lot of pressure on the system, so it's good in a sense. Yeah, for sure.
Well, thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.